Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and I'm going to be doing a Lightsworn deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck is an extremely fun chaos deck that can summon out all sorts of amazing boss monsters. I've even included some spicy tech cards in this build for you guys. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Judgment Dragon. Judgment Dragon is a definite 2-of in the build because this card is an absolutely crazy powerful boss monster that has the effect that if you have 4 or more Lightsworn monsters in the graveyard with different names, you can instantly special summon this card from your hand to your side of the field, which is a really good effect just to instantly get a 3000 attack point boss monster on the field. It also has the ability that you can pay 1000 life points to destroy all their cards on the field, which is not a once per turn effect, which is super cool. It also has the ability during each of your end phases, send the top 4 cards of your deck to the graveyard, which is really good just to help you mill cards to the grave to be able to set up for more plays. We then play 3 copies of Raiden, Hand of the Lightsworn. This card is a definite 3-of in the build because this card has a great ability that it basically mills 4 cards from your deck. Because it has the ability during your main phase, you can send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard, then if any Lightsworn monsters are sent to the graveyard by this effect, this card gains 200 attack until the end of your opponent's turn, and you can only use effect this card once per turn, but also during each of your end phases, you send 2 additional cards from your deck to the graveyard, which is a great ability just to help you get more cards into the grave. We then play 3 copies of Wolf. Wolf is a definite 3-of as well in this build, and if this card is milled to the graveyard, you just special summon it to your side of the field, which is a great ability to just instantly get your copy of Wolf on the field so you can start making rank 4 plays and even link plays. We then play a single copy of Felice. Felice is great as a 1-of and is basically like an additional copy of Wolf, but you only really need a single copy of her. She has a really good ability if she's milled to the graveyard. You basically get to special summon her from the grave to your side of the field, which is a great ability, but she also has the ability to contribute this card and then target a monster your opponent controls and destroy that target, and then send the top 3 cards of your deck to the grave, which is a great effect. We then play 2 copies of Lumina. Lumina is great as a 2-of in this build, and this card is amazing because she has the ability once per turn, you can discard a card and then target a level 4 lower Lightsworn monster in your graveyard and special summon that target to your side of the field, which is great to be able to bring back your copy of Raiden back to your side of the field so you can go in for level 7 synchro plays. This card also sends the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard during the end phase, which is great to be able to mill cards to the grave off this card's ability. We then play a single copy of Lila. Lila is great as a 1-of just to be able to pop spells and traps on the field, which is just really good. I love this card as a 1-of in the deck, but you only really need a single copy of Lila. We then play a single copy of Minerva. Minerva is great as a 1-of in the deck because if she does touch the graveyard, you send an additional copy of a card off the top of your deck, which is great just to get an additional card off the top of your deck into the graveyard, which is such a good ability. I really like this card as a 1-of in the build. We then play a single copy of Raikou, Lightsworn. This card is the only Lightsworn we play in the build, and it does count as a Lightsworn name, which is great to be able to use with your copy of Judgment Dragon, but I really feel like 1 copy of this card is great in the build, because if it's normal, summoned, or flip face up, you can banish a Lightsworn monster from your hand or graveyard to banish a card from the field, which is a great effect to be able to just non-targeting banish a card from the field. I love that about this card, and it helps out a lot in the deck to be able to just spot remove cards off the field, and it's a great 1-of in the deck. It also has the ability once per turn, if your other Lightsworn monster effect is activated, you send the top 3 cards of your deck to the grave, which is a great ability just to be able to mill an additional 3 cards. So that's it for the Lightsworn monsters. Let's get into the tech monsters we're playing in the deck. So for the tech cards we're playing in the deck, we're going to start off with 3 copies of the Bysteel Lubellion. We are playing Bysteels in this build because it is a chaos deck, and this card is great in this build because you basically just discard this card to the graveyard to be able to add a level 6 Bysteel from your deck to your hand, which is a great ability. You can also tribute a level 6 or higher Dark Dragon monster to special summon this card from your grave, and it also has a great effect that during your main phase, you can place 1 branded continuous spell or trap from your deck face up on on the field, which is a great ability. I love that about this card, that you just send it to the grave to be able to search out your copies of Sawnir, Magnemite, or Druisworm, which is such a cool effect about this card. We then play a single copy of Sawnir. Sawnir is great as a one-of in the build to be able to use with your copy of Lubellium, because this card helps you get your copy of Branded or Gained into the graveyard, and then your copy of Lubellion can put your copy of Branded Beast on your side of the field, so you basically get your copy of Branded or Gained back during the end phase off the effect of Branded Beast, which is just so cool. I usually search out Sawnir from the deck when I use the effect of Lubellion to send itself from the graveyard to be able to search out another Bysteel card, which is probably the best target in the deck to be able to grab. We then play a single copy of Magnemite. Magnemite's great in this build because I can actually search out Judgment Dragon, which is crazy powerful for follow-up, because all of your Bysteel level 6s share a common ability that you can target a light or dark monster in either player's graveyard and banish it, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. And it's a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster, which is a great effect, but if this card is special summoned, you can activate this effect that during the end phase of this turn, you can add a dragon monster from your deck or grave to your hand, except a copy of this card, which is a great ability to be able to search out cards like Lubellion, one of your other Bysteel monsters, or even Judgment Dragon, which is amazing. And the cool thing is this card can grab those cards from grave, which is really nice. We then play a single copy of Druisworm just for spot removal. This card is great in the build as a one-of, but you only really need a single copy of Druisworm in the deck. We then play a single copy of Black Dragon Collapse Serpent and one copy of White Dragon Wyvern Buster. These cards are really good at 1 each. They're only at 1 right now, but they're really good in this build because you basically banish either a dark or a light monster from your graveyard to special summon them to your side of the field. And if they leave the field, you get to search the other one, which is super cool. We then play a single copy of Starliege. Starliege is great as a one-of in the deck because this card can help you get to the exact dragon you need, and I really like this card at being able to recover your cards from the grave. Because you manage this card from the grave and then target a level 8 light or dark dragon monster in your grave and add it to your hand. So you can grab cards like Judgment Dragon or Lubellion back out of the grave to your hand, which is really good. We then play a single copy of Destrudo. Destrudo is just basically free. This card is amazing. You pay half your life points, target a level 6 or lower monster that you control, special summon this card, and if you do, this card's level is reduced by the level of the targeted monster, which is great to be able to just get this card out on your side of the field, so you can keep going in for link plays or synchro plays with this card. We then play a single copy of Chaos Valkyria. This card is a great extender in the deck and is basically like your copy of White Dragon and Black Dragon, because this card has the ability that you can special summon this card by banishing a light or dark monster from your graveyard, which is great just to instantly get this card on your field as an extender because you want 2 level 4s on the field so you can go in for Minerva. We then play a single copy of Chaos Dragon Levinair. Chaos Dragon Levinair is insane in this deck, and it's a really good Chaos card to be able to summon to your side of the field, as you banish a total of 3 light or dark monsters from your graveyard, and depending on what you banish depends on the effects this card gets. If you banish only light, you special summon a monster from your grave in defense. If you only banish dark, you shuffle a random card from your opponent's hand into the deck. If you banish both light and dark, you can pop 2 cards on the field, which is great to be able to just destroy any 2 cards that you need to destroy. We then play a single copy of the Chaos Creator. The Chaos Creator is also an amazing Chaos card to be able to play in the deck, because this card just helps you out a lot overall in this build, which is why I play this card as a one-of in the deck. We then play some tier limit cards. We're going to start off with a single copy of Sharon. The tier limit cards are amazing because they help you mill cards from your deck to the grave, which is why we play them in the build. They're really, really good in this deck, and I love them in Lightsworn because they help out so much. Even at 1 apiece, they're still insane. This card has a great ability. During your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, send a monster from your hand to the grave, and then send the top 3 cards of your deck to the grave. These cards might as well be basically Lightsworn cards, which is insane, but this card helps out a lot because it gets rid of 3 cards. It's a free special summon. It helps you get a monster out of your hand, and it just helps you set up so many different plays. Plus, it can help you fusion summon into our 1 target in the extra deck, which is a Mud Dragon of the Swamp, which helps you recycle your cards because when they fusion summon, they put themselves and another card back into the deck, which is really good. We then play a single copy of Havness and a single copy of Merly. You play these cards at 1 each in the deck because they help you mill cards to the graveyard. Havness helps you play during your opponent's turn, and Merly is just a mill 3, which is really good if it's normal or special summon, making it very easy just to help you get cards into the grave. I feel like 1 each is totally fine in this deck because they help you just get additional cards in the grave. Speaking of milling cards to the graveyard, we're also playing a single copy of Agito and a single copy of Kelbeck. These cards are insane if you hit them them with a Lightsworn or one of your tier limit cards, because they basically mill an additional 5 cards from your deck, which is insane, and it helps out a lot to be able to get rid of your opponent's cards as well. I really like these cards in this build. I feel like the Ishizu cards are insanely powerful, but they're really good in Lightsworn because they help you mill additional cards to the graveyard. We then do play one each of the shufflers, one copy of Medora and one copy of Keldo. These are really good in the deck at one each because they basically just help you in the long run to be able to shuffle back cards that you want into the deck. I really like these cards at one each, and I feel like they're the best amount to play in this deck. They're currently all at 1, but they're really good in the deck overall. We then play 2 copies of Danger Mothman. Danger Mothman is insane in this deck because it is a level 4, and it's really good in this deck to help you get rid of a card out of your hand while also getting a level 4 onto your side of the field and drawing a card. I really like this card overall in the deck because you're always guaranteed to draw a card off Danger Mothman. Even if you hit this card, you still get to draw a card, which is really nice. We then play 2 copies of Shinobi Necro. This card works insane with your Bysteel cards because if this card is banished, you actually get to special summon it. So if you banish it off of one of your Bysteel cards or one of your Chaos cards, you can just special summon this card back to your side of the field, which is really good to help you go in for all sorts of different plays, especially if you have something like Lubellion on your side of the field. You can go in for a level 10 Synchro play, which is really, really good. We then play a single copy of Plague Spreader Zombie. Plague Spreader Zombie is just really good in the deck overall as a 1-up, just to be able to get this monster back from the graveyard onto your side of the field by placing something on top of your deck from your hand. So if you draw into something like a copy of Wolf, you can put the Wolf on top of the deck to be able to special summon this card out, and then use like a copy of Raiden to be able to mill the Wolf and then special summon Wolf, which is really good. I love that about this card, and it helps out a lot overall just to help you with your plays and fix your hand to make sure that you don't have the bricks in your hand that you want to mill to the grave. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is really good in this deck as a 1-up to get the exact card you need into the graveyard, especially if you send something like a Kelbeck or a Nagito to the graveyard. You're instantly going to get a mill 5, which is going to turn the entire deck on, which is really cool. We then play a single copy of Reasoning. This card basically says special summon the top card of your deck because you have so many different levels in this deck. It's going to be very hard for your opponent to hit the right level. Sometimes they will, but you still get to mill something to the graveyard, which is really cool, and I love that about this card. We then play a single copy of Chaos Space. This card is currently at 1, but it's still really good as a searcher for this deck to get the exact card that you need. We then play a single copy of Branded Regained. Branded Regained is really good in this deck to be able to work with your Bysteel cards, and it's overall just a fantastic card in this deck to be able to help you with your cards that get banished, and it's just a great card overall in this build. And you can get it back super easy with your copy of Branded Beast, especially by sending this to your graveyard off of Saunier and then putting Branded Beast on your side of the field with the effect of Lubellion. It's very easy to get them both on your side of the field. Even if you mill this to the graveyard, you're still going to be able to use Lubellion to put your copy of Branded Beast on the field and then get it back. We then play 3 copies of Solar Recharge. Solar Recharge is great because you discard a Lightsworn monster to draw 2 cards and then send the top 2 cards of your deck to the grave, which is basically going to get you a draw 2, a Lightsworn name in the grave, and then a mill 2, which can be a copy of Wolf, Felice, any of your Chaos cards, a copy of a Tier Limit card, one of your Shizu cards. It's just really, really good overall in this build. We then play 3 copies of Charge of the Light Brigade. This card is the Rhoda for your Lightsworn monsters. You send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard, and then add a level 4 lower Lightsworn monster from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect to be able to get the exact card that you need, while also milling 3 to the graveyard. This card is an amazing card to see in your opening hand because it turns on the entire deck. Because this card basically mills 5, because if you search something like a copy of Raiden, you're going to mill 3 cards off of this, normal summon Raiden to your side of the field, mill an additional 2 cards, hopefully hitting a Shizu or a Wolf or something like that, and then it basically just turns on the entire deck, which is really nice. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 1 trap, and that's going to be 1 copy of Branded Beast. Branded Beast is just really good in this deck. It can pop cards on the field. You do play the Bysteel package in the deck, and this card helps out a lot because you can tribute a dragon monster and then target a card on the field that your opponent controls and destroy it, but you can only activate that effect if you control a Bysteel monster, which is super easy to do in the deck with how easy it is to bring back Lubellion to your side of the field. It also has a really cool ability during the end phase. You can target a branded continuous spell or trap in your grave and place it face up on the field, which is always going to be Branded Regained. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with a single copy of Minerva. Minerva is amazing as a one-of in the deck. You only really need a single copy of Minerva. I have bumped this card down to 1 in this build. I used to play this card at 2, but I feel like 1 is totally fine because you just detach a material from this card, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the grave, then you can draw cards equal to the number of Lightsworn monsters that were sent to the grave by this effect, which is usually going to be at least 1 or 2, so you're going to draw 1 or 2 cards, which is really good, while also milling the top 3, which is just insane, just to help you get your graveyard going. We then play a single copy of number 60. Number 60 is great in this deck just as an extender because it helps you draw 2 and discard a card, bring a monster back from the grave, or double the attack of a monster to help you just go in for game. You can change this card out for Baguska if you want a little bit more of a defensive option, but it's great in this deck just as an extender. We then play a single copy of Beatrice. You make this card extremely easily with your copies of your Bysteel monsters, and it's basically just a walking Foolish Burial to get the exact card you need in the graveyard. It's great in this deck overall. We then play a single copy of the Zombie Vampire. This card is also very easy to make. It mills the top 4 cards off of both players' decks, and then you get to special summon a monster among those 4 cards, which is insane to be able to do, because we're always going to be milling monsters to the graveyard, because we're playing a 50 card deck, which 39 of the cards actually are monsters, which is insane to just be able to mill for and just guarantee you're going to get a summon, which is just super cool. We then play a single copy of AA Zeus, because we do play a lot of XZs in this deck, and this card is very easy to be able to make on top of any of our XZ monsters just to help us board wipe the field, because we have this and we have Judgment Dragon. We then play a single copy of Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel is really amazing in this deck. It's very easy to summon to your side of the field, and it's very easy to get both of its effects off. It does not require a tuner, it just requires a light and a dark monster, and when it's summoned to your side of the field, you get to banish a card on the field, which is insane. And if you put a light monster into this card for its synchro, then synchro monsters you control are unaffected by monster effects that are activated by your opponent. If you put a dark monster in this card, monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle, which is insane to be able to protect your cards with that much advantage. This card is why I built the deck, and it's just super cool to be able to just summon this card to your side of the field. We play a single copy of Baron de Fleur. Baron de Fleur is super easy to make in this deck, especially with cards like Shinobi Necro and your copies of Lubellion. That is one of the best combos in the deck, to be able to basically send your copy of your Lubellion to the graveyard, and then once you send Lubellion, grab Sawnir, banish your copy of Shinobi Necro from the grave, summon Sawnir, use your copy of your Shinobi Necro to summon itself back to the field, and then use the effect of Lubellion to tribute the Sawnir to bring it to your side of the field, which then you can get Branded Beast on the field while sending your copy of Branded Regain to the grave. And then you've got a level 8 and a level 2 on your side of the field, which is going to help you step into any level 10 that you want to, like your copies of Baron de Fleur, which is amazing just to have as a walking the game. We then play a single copy of Bysteel Dispatter. Dispatter is just one of the best level 10s you can make in pretty much any deck, especially a deck like this, especially with you banishing cards, because this card lets you target a banished light or dark monster and special summon it to your side of the field. And when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can target a banished card and shuffle it in the deck. And if you shuffled it into your deck, destroy that monster, or if you shuffled it into your opponent's deck, negate the activated effect, which is really cool that this card is basically a walking negate while also recycling resources. We then play a single copy of Omega. Omega is great in this deck as a one-of because it helps you rip cards out of your opponent's hand, which is why I play this card as a one-of. Play a single copy of Chaos Archfiend because this card basically comes out at 4,500, which is insane and huge. We play a single copy of Michael the Arc Lightsworn because this card is great at spot removing cards off the field. One copy of F.A. Dawn Dragster. This card is awesome at spell and trap negates, which is why I play this card as a one-of in the deck. Plus, it's a lot of times you do summon out monsters that equal level 7, so these cards are really good. I was just going to play Michael in the deck or just F.A. Dawn Dragster, but I ended up playing them both and I really like it. We then play a single copy of Mud Dragon of the Swamp. This is our one tier limit target that you're going to be going in for. It's very easy to do because it just requires 2 monsters with the same attribute but different types, which your copies of your tier limit monsters are all Aqua, so you just use that and a dark monster to be able to make this card, which gives you a free level 4 on your side of the field while also recycling one of your resources, which is really cool to be able to do. We then play a single copy of Skull Dread because it's very easy to make this card in the deck and just draw 4 and then get a free special summon from hand while also boosting every monster that points to by 300 when they're summoned to their zone this card points to, which is really good. And then finally we play a single copy of Appaloosa. I know we only play the 2 really high link rating monsters, but you just swarm the field, it's so easy. So by playing the copy of Appaloosa, it's very easy to end on the first turn with a 4-negate Appaloosa in this build. So that's going to do for this one, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Lightsworn before, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's a really fun deck to be able to play. And it's absolutely crazy how this 50-card build works and how easy it is just to swarm the field with all sorts of boss monsters. So that's going to do for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.